cloud. All right. So happy Tuesday, guys. The goal of putting together this Tuesday morning, Zoom call is to help people get ahead, help people grow, personally, professionally. I was talking to Christina, who works with me behind the scenes, and Stephanie and Taylor, some of the people in our organization that I've worked with for a very long time. And one of the things that I was thinking about is just ways that I can help you guys, and based on things I've been through. And my goal in general, and not only doing these calls, but also I created a YouTube channel called Clear Channel, Klear channel. I'd hopefully you subscribe and listen if you want to follow up and watch things later, or maybe pass it on to other people. But my whole goal is to help change the world one leader at a time. I know that I've become who I am, and not just business, but in life, based on my experiences and based on my upbringing. And I feel that I have things to offer other people, and maybe help you improve life a little bit, look at things a little differently, and frankly, just build your confidence on who you can become. So today's call, after discussing things with Christina and Stephanie and a few others, I'm going to be talking a lot about self-awareness, and how to, just how to look at things, how to look at yourself, how to possibly think differently, think better, how to think about the way you think. They say that if you look in the rear view mirror and scrutinize it too much, you're going to hit a light post. So it's conceptually the idea, if you focus a lot on your past and you focus too much on the past, you're not going to be able to see where you're going. You're going to run into things. And so, I'll tell you, self-awareness is an amazing gift. It's something that I hope all of you guys grow in today. I hope it's something that all of you improve over time. But self-awareness is the ability to see ourselves clearly. It's to understand who we are, what we stand for, how we fit into the world, how we fit into our families, how we fit into the business that we're in. And if you have strong self-awareness, I believe it gives you strength. I believe it gives you power, it gives you confidence, and ultimately gives you purpose. Now, they say that, there's studies that have proven that people that have a lot of self-awareness have amazing relationships, better relationships than the average human, happier lives. They perform better at work. They, become better leaders in the business world. Ultimately, they're better parents. I've shared with a lot of you guys before, my number one goal in my life is to be a great dad and a great husband, by far. My number two is to be great in business, to take care of my team, take care of our business, our organization, to ultimately take care of, number one. And it's funny, I did a bit of research about self-awareness, and one of the things I saw, was some studies that were being done. They said there's two types of people when it comes to self-awareness. One group is they think they're self-aware. And then there's another group that actually are. And the study says 95% of people think they have self-awareness. 5% actually have self-awareness. So and a lot of the research was about, people just thinking they do, and ultimately not really. So a couple things that we're going to go into today, just some questions I think some people ask themselves that really kind of hurt their awareness and hurt their subconscious. Things like the word why. And I know in my life, I've asked myself this question often, and especially when bad things have happened, like, why me? Why does this always happen to me? Why is this happening to me? And I've realized as I went through the toughest moments of my life, I had to change that language. I had to change the language from, why me, to what is God trying to teach me right now? What am I not doing? This pressure that's being put on me, what do I need to change so I can handle it better? What am I not doing? What do I need to level up in? What do I need to learn to be better? And if you understand that if you change the question you ask yourself, you can change your life. And it's all about the questions you ask. So I thought, in order to help you guys and to create some awareness around your world and your life and your upbringing, I felt like today, I would be really vulnerable with you guys and open and transparent with some of my own challenges and my own challenges with awareness. And so I asked Stefanie, who I've known for 15, 16 years now in business and in friendship, and she truly is a sister to me that I've always wanted in my life. And I asked her to put together, with the help of Christina and a few other people, just questions about life and business and how I look at things. And my hope today is, little to do with me talking about me, and more to do with you and how it hopefully brings awareness to who you are and what you stand for and how you can build a business or build your life in whatever way you want it. So that's what I had to start, Steph. I know you and I talked about this pretty late last night. Anything you want to say before we kind of jump into the questions?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for asking me to do this. I think it's really shows a lot of courage that you're going to be as vulnerable as you are, because I already know what the questions are. And obviously, I've had the honor of working with you since you were 20-something-year-old Kenny, as we used to call you, and seeing you grow into the man that you are today as a husband and a father and a businessman. So it's great that you're going to share this information, because I think, as hard as it's going to be for you to talk about some of the things you're going to talk about, I know that a lot of people are going to be able to relate to it, and as a result be able to navigate their own feelings and their own ways of handling life and business and relationships as a result of it. So I'm just grateful that you're doing this. Cool. You ready to get started?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'll start off easy on you then. So my first question is about confidence. So obviously confidence is all about balance. Too little confidence, you avoid, trying new things, you guess yourself. Too much confidence, then you end up not being grounded in reality, and it ends up getting you in trouble. So where would you say that you typically fall on the confidence curve?
So I'll tell you, confidence is, the analogy I want to use is, it's like when I'm at the park with the boys. It's like a swing. Like some days I wake up and I'm really high, and I'm really overly confident and know who I am and what I stand for. And then a lot of days I'm low. I'm stressed out. I'm tired. And I'm unprepared. And I know just from the years of work and business that's what's created when those things happen. So, I put a lot of pressure on myself to come through for my family, like extreme pressure. And I think over time, I've learned that when I get so far stressed or so far tired or whatever, that I've learned to pull back, to reset myself, to get going again. I think when I was younger, I would just go, 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 go. And then I would hit a brick wall, and my performance and my influence, I remember having like a conversation in a one-on-one with somebody. And then a few days later, I heard through someone else, they're like, yeah, Ken was just like not being himself. And I felt like it was because of me. I felt a certain way about our conversation. And what they didn't know was I was just stressed and tired, and my world impacted how they felt about my message. And so I think knowing that, I've created routines that I do every day to make sure I come out of however I wake up, because I wake up often with low confidence and often with just like doubt. I've created these routines on a daily basis, like going to the gym and having a workout and standing in a cold shower like this morning for an extra 4 minutes, like to really like shock my body, to get my mind and get my heart and get my body moving. And I when I come out of those things, I feel like I can take on the world, because I force that tension on my body on a daily basis. So, but I think I'm like a freaking swing.
I think the saying is you can't pour from an empty cup. So obviously having that awareness that you have to make sure you're cared for before you can come through for all the people that count on you is super important. So next question. So a lot of people have trouble accepting compliments. So what steps would you recommend to somebody when they find themselves shrugging off compliments? And why do you think sometimes it's hard for people to accept affirmation?
I think people are so negative that they don't like the positive. I think unfortunately the world has like society, TV, people, it's not often that people say good things and do good things. Or at least I think they do them, but it's not, people aren't aware of them as much. And so, I found myself early in my soccer career, early in my business career, when somebody would say, hey, you did this really well, but I would like almost immediately follow up with, yeah, but I didn't do this and I didn't do that. And as I've gotten older, and I've said this in another, call, I've realized that the most important thing you're going to say is things you say to yourself. And so now, if somebody gives me a compliment and is saying something I've done well, I just say, thank you so much. And I just take it in, and I appreciate it. And then I turn around and do my best to do that for other people. But I think I realized as I've gotten older that building myself up serves me more than actually rebuttaling a compliment, which I think most people do. And it's just uncomfortable. It's weird if somebody's not used to it. But if you tend to get compliments, it just makes you feel great. Right. And so I think that's what I've chosen to do later in my career and later in life, is to just appreciate it and say thank you.
It's interesting too, because as a newer parent, I'm reading a lot of parenting books right now, and they say that if you give a compliment and there's a but in it and you start to break it down, anything you said before it doesn't matter. And it's hard when you're a high achiever and you have high expectations of yourself not to focus on maybe what you didn't do right. But obviously as a parent, as a leader, it makes a huge impact on the people around you if you're constantly focusing on, what you didn't do right. So it makes sense. To you, what would you say confidence feels like? How does it make your body feel? What are the things that you're telling yourself in your head? Because obviously the story you're telling yourself is super important.
Yeah, it's funny because I grew up in the era of Superman, right? I just feel like Clark Kent. I just feel like I'm gonna rip my shirt open. I got a big S on my chest, and I'm like fucking gonna pick up cars with my one hand, kind of thing. It's kind of funny because my boys obviously are big like Superman fans, and I think Mason wears his Superman shirt probably 4 days out of 5. Um, but I mean, it feels amazing. It feels like you can accomplish things, that you can take on the world, and I think it's the start of doing what you want to do and being who you want to be. And I think the way you show up in your daily life is gonna help you get ahead, or it's gonna kind of get in the way of what you want to accomplish. And so, that's why I focus on it a ton. And I've said this in the last couple calls, but I say things to myself that I think some people may think are crazy, about my health and about, the business and about, what I want to do. But, again, I'm becoming more and more aware of how important the subconscious mind is and how that drives your behavior. And so knowing what I know now, I'm using that to my advantage. I'm using that to build myself up and to accomplish more. It's proven through science. So I think in the back in the day when I didn't understand all that stuff, I didn't know what to do. Right? It's, I have the formula. I feel like I feel like I'm starting to figure it out. So I wanna use it to an advantage.
Yeah, whatever you tell yourself is true. So it's important what you're saying. What brings you joy right now, and how do you make sure you practice it daily?
I love laying in bed with Brady and Mason and reading to them. Like I just kind of sit there. So Brady right now, last night we were at home before I purposely on a daily basis, and it's not all the time because I would like, there's things that I need to do for work or whatever, but as much as I can, I'm at home between 7:30 and 8:30 or 7:30 and 9, so I can read to the boys. And oftentimes, like Taylor a few nights ago was like texting me, sending me messages, and she got a message back from me at like 1 a.m. I'm like, hey, sorry, fell asleep reading the Brady. And the funny thing is, like, he's got this, Lightning McQueen car bed. You guys ever seen like some of those beds for kids or whatever? He's got this freaking bed that's only, I don't know, 5 feet long, and I'm 6'4". So like I fall asleep with my feet hanging on the end and like, dangling everywhere or whatever. But it's like it like fills me up big time. And, we kind of talk every day. I ask them and both boys as much as I can when I'm there. I ask them, hey, tell me about your day. What did you learn today? What was your favorite part about today? And my intention is to get them to think about the good, and to really go to sleep thinking of the good. Because I know they're just little humans. I know they're not, they only know what people say to them. And I know that, as they grow up and get older and older, my hope is they remember those times and so when they go to sleep and, they have strong mental health. But I do that with them every day. And, and I'll tell you, like, I enjoy cooking. One of the things that we do, when I'm kind of down in the dumps or frustrated or stressed or whatever, I think you've been around Steph enough and others have. I cook my mom's like famous brown rice and chicken or steak. And, it's a special family recipe that we have and that we've kind of passed on, from mom to kids, and I'm sure I'll pass it on to my kids. But I enjoy that. A good hearty meal that is like a family tradition. It brings me a lot of joy.
Since you publicly said that I'm like the sister you always wanted, is it possible I can get that recipe because I crave it on a regular basis? It is so good.
I'm sure we can work something out.
Okay. So speaking of your mom and her amazing rice, for all the parents out there, how would you say your mom created confidence in you as a child? And do you think that instilling healthy levels of self-confidence impacts people's relationships and impacts them professionally?
Yeah, I think it does a ton. My mom always did things through love. Again, growing up in a, Colombian kind of household, and I'm really proud of my Colombian heritage. I'm really proud of, my family and who they are, what they stand for, and everything about that side of the family. And I'll tell you the biggest thing that she and brought to me and my brother, and really that whole side of the family I saw growing up as a kid, is how close knit they are, how lovable. Like my cousins, I'm on a WhatsApp, and we have all the cousins on the WhatsApp, and I mean it's like this Colombian entourage of cousins that are about the same age, and they're very lovable. It's very like, hugs and togetherness, and and I remember when my mom passed, like literally the whole family came, like everyone, and I think that's just a testament to like how tight we are, and how, I wish I saw them more often. And one of my dreams is to have a home in Cartagena, Colombia, among my uncles and everyone else that are entrepreneurs down there, so we can go there multiple times a year and have my kids around the kids and have just our cousins kind of grow up together. But yeah, I think my mom set the tone as far as like loving and giving and serving other people. Because, if you ask my best friends growing up that, were around her in high school, she'd cook food and they'd be done. My buddy Taylor would be done eating breakfast or lunch. And then she's like, no, please more. And he's like, no, Mrs. Weir, I'm good. No, please more. And he's like, no, please, like really, I'm not, I can't eat anymore. And she's like, 2 more bites. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, So, but she always said things like, the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. And that's how she kind of won over my dad, apparently, back in the day. I don't know how true that is, but she always loved to cook. And I'll tell you, I think of my wife today, for Sarah, for a lot of you guys that know her, she's the best at that. She's the absolute best. She's incredibly affectionate, incredibly loving. When she sees the boys, like if the kids are out of the house and we're coming back in the house, she like jumps off the couch. She's like, hey guys, how are you? Come here, give me a big hug. Right. And just like makes it a point to show excitement, as opposed to kids walk in, hey guys. It's like when they get up in the morning, the boys come running downstairs, and she's normally up early having her coffee. She stops everything. Hey, come here, give me a big hug. And I think it's an awesome example of what it should be like.
The parenting book I'm reading right now that I've been harassing you to read, the chapter I literally just finished talks about how important it is to be excited when you see your children for the first time, whether they're coming in the room or they're waking up, and how everyone has a desire to create excitement in another person surely by their presence. So it's interesting. and it builds their confidence. So a lot of people don't know this. I mean, they know now that you lost your mom because you just mentioned it. But obviously you lost both your parents in a very short span of time. What did this do to your self-confidence? And can you just describe any type of change in your awareness that took place after their passing?
Yeah, the story behind it is, Sarah and I got engaged, in the time that mom was first found out she was diagnosed with breast cancer. And over the next year or so, she did all her treatments and she did everything. And they said that she'd beaten it, that she, things went into remission. And this because you're at the wedding, but the daughter or the son mother dance, the mother Sundance or whatever, we were dancing, and it was very emotional because my mom, whispers in my ear, like, this wedding is the reason why I beat cancer. And I freaking lost it, in front of all my friends and everyone at the wedding. And a few months later, she told us that, the cancer had come back, and a few months after that, my mom says to me on a call, because I lived in LA at the time and they're in South Florida, that your dad's got something to tell you. And what he hadn't told us was that he, for lack of better words, was hiding the fact that he had been diagnosed as well with liver cancer. And so I think all of it was like a nightmare for me for a while. Like, when we went down to Florida and mom's passing, and then, making a decision, my brother and I decided to move my father to New Hampshire, to a special care facility. The idea of losing his wife he'd been married to for many, many years. And, we just would try to, give him hope that he could, beat this thing. So we want to get him around my brother's kids and his grandkids. And, I just, for a long time, I thought it was a nightmare. I thought I was just going to wake up from it and it would all be okay. I was an absolute mess for a while. I know you were in the office back then and helping run the day-to-day operation. I don't know if you remember, I took about 3 or 4 weeks off, and I went to New Hampshire and spent time with my dad when he got really sick. And keep in mind, this is the same time when we were pregnant with Brady. And so Sarah wasn't even able to travel to Florida for my mom's funeral. And then when I left to go spend time with my dad for a few weeks, she was still in California, fully pregnant, very pregnant. And, and as the holidays rolled around and January rolled around, my dad's like, you're about to have your son. You can't be here. What if she goes and you have to be there with her? And so I decided to leave, and, I talked to him every day, morning and night, until I found out that, February 2nd, 2013, he passed, and the very next day my son was born. And, and I think once I got out of that period of time, with, just the nightmare feeling and the world of hurt that I was in, I decided to make changes. So some of you guys know that I rebranded my entire company to 2313, February 3rd, 2013. It took me a few years to kind of share the story on why I did that, but it's on my website now. It's on my company website, etc. But I realized that instead of like suppressing my feelings and kind of not talking about it and not sharing the story, I realized that, everybody goes through stuff. Everyone goes through crazy, crazy life scenarios. And if I could be, an example of somebody that has created hope and created a fortune and created a life and created it because I choose to do that, as opposed to focusing on all the negatives I could focus on, I feel that's a gift. I feel that's an opportunity to help. And so, I instead of suppressing it all, I wish I would have gone to a therapist sooner. I wish I would have had somebody to talk to sooner to kind of get it out and to help my mind. But, I've just decided to live to honor them and live to build the dynasty. And, my brother and I are incredibly close. We've always been close, but we've gotten a lot closer over the years. And, he's all I got, We've had to step up in the family too. Some of you guys don't know this, but my dad's sister is mentally challenged. And so we've had a lot of things that we've had to do for the family and come through and there's my grandmother many years ago had created a trust fund because apparently my grandfather bought Coca-Cola stock in the 30s. And so she had some money that she left for Aunt Janet, and that piece of the family. And frankly, that money doesn't last very long. So my brother and I have had to step up in a lot of ways to make sure that part of the family is taken care of and supported. So, but I live to honor. I live to be optimistic. I think it's just, again, I think it's the only thing that I can do to help my boys.
Thank you for sharing that. And it's obviously, like I said earlier, when Sarah was stuck in California and couldn't believe she was actually laying in bed with me because I had just had surgery too. So I remember it clearly as it was just yesterday. So, so for someone who's experiencing depression or loss, like maybe, even an ounce of the loss that you've experienced in your life, how do you recommend they remain confident in the workplace? And is there a certain amount they should keep private, a certain amount they should expose? I think you did. The amount of grace you showed over the years of everything you went through is impressive. So what would be your recommendation?
I would just find someone you trust. I would find someone that you can open to, that you can talk to, that is non-judgmental. Maybe it is a therapist, maybe it is a psychiatrist, or someone who's trained and schooled in this area, or it's just people like me that that are in your life that have been through stuff, and they're not going to judge you. They're not going to they're just going to be there for you. They're just going to give you an opportunity to release the challenge, release the negatives, release the emotions and anything you have in a safe environment. I know, like I said earlier, I wish I did that a lot sooner, and I wish I had that opportunity and basically chose to. I was such a tough guy for a while that I was like, I don't need that. I'm fine. I don't need that. Whatever. And I realized over the years that that it's not, you're not weak. You're not, it's nothing wrong with having someone to talk to that can help you, that can give you guidance and can help you grow. And whether it's in the mind or in business or whatever, it's actually incredibly smart. And as I've read more and more about successful people and successful people in history, I've realized majority of them, if not all of them, have someone like that. And it's again for awareness. It's to create awareness. It's to create strength and to be at their best. It's not because they're weak. It's actually because they're smart. So,
as somebody who is a huge advocate of therapy, my husband sells it for a living, and I've gone personally. I've gone as a couple. I look at talking to somebody, whether it's a therapist or a coach or whatever, as it's like going to school. It really is. It teaches you how to understand your feelings and your thoughts. And I know it's done wonders for me professionally, personally, and in my relationship. So, how would you say somebody would recover from the unthinkable of losing somebody in such a demanding career? I watched you, obviously go through multiple miscarriages, lose both your parents, and still show up every day ready to come through for your people. So what advice do you have for people to push forward if they're experiencing anything like that?
I think it just goes back to what we talked about earlier about the question you ask yourself. I think sometimes, again, people ask, why me? And I did that a lot. And it didn't really serve me to say that to myself. And so I think when I realized that I wasn't growing, I wasn't like moving towards my goals, I wasn't showing up daily for my family like I wanted to. I remember a few years ago, Mason's so in tune with his emotions, which is incredible for being so young. And I remember coming home one night and and again, I don't know what was going on in my mind or my heart or whatever, but I was just had a lot of anxiety and a lot of frustration. And I remember Mason saying to me, "Why are you being so mean to me?" And I was like, I like a few days. How I wanted to go. Um, I just have learned through feeling a certain way and not performing a certain way, what things I do need and things I can't do. But I think overall it's like, waking up in the morning, having a strong breakfast, having my morning little routines that I do, getting enough sleep, that kind of stuff. And I didn't realize how impactful that is to my performance and to how I show up. And I like those to me are non-negotiable. So I have to work out. And people know me, and you can, Taylor and all the others that work with me every day, that if I don't work out in the morning, even if it's like 15, 30 minutes and it's not like a major workout, they know something's off. So Stefanie, you said something to me yesterday, like, Ken, everything okay? You're okay? You seem off. And it's because I had a lot on my mind and I was like going 100 miles an hour and I didn't get a good workout in. Like there's so many things that happened that threw me off yesterday. But you even noticed on the call we had, right? You're like, you okay? I'm like, yeah. He's like, you don't seem like yourself. And that happens a few times nowadays, but in my career, it happened all the time because I just wasn't, I didn't know what was working. I didn't know what didn't work. And I like to have a good time. So I'd go out until like 3 a.m. and drink all night and wake up at 7 and run a morning meeting kind of thing. That doesn't always help. I did it well though. So.
Yes, you used to never eat. It would be like 4 o'clock and it'd be like, you haven't had breakfast, lunch, are you going to have dinner? So I'm happy to hear you're eating again. So that was the last question I had for you. Thank you for being vulnerable. I know for me, as somebody who's worked with you for, almost 16 years, I've watched you navigate all of this over the years, and I've watched you face some really, really challenging things. And while, maybe you didn't deal with the things you wanted to deal with soon enough, like I said earlier, you dealt with it with grace, and you definitely are somebody that's always inspired me to push harder, because it's like, Jesus, if he can get up out of bed and like still be excited, like whatever I'm complaining about really isn't that bad. So I appreciate you always being such a great example.
Yeah, no problem. And the reality is that you are the sister I've always wanted. So I used to say that I never wanted because I was being a smartass, but nowadays I realize that, it's not the case.
Yep. Nope, you're the brother I always wanted, because I really don't have one.
So awesome. Well, guys, so, I appreciate first that you guys are just listening. My whole goal today is just to be open, is to be myself, be authentic. I think, I'm talking about taking classes and courses. This week and then the last few weeks, some of our partners in the business have encouraged us to do conscious bias training. It has to do with just, subconscious biases we have grown up in the culture we're in and the world we're in, in regards to, race and sex and heritage and all those things, just to kind of be better human beings. And I think the key to having a great life is the learning and continuously learning. And I'll tell you, I've learned a lot through the last week or two of trainings I've done with that. But again, back to kind of the initial part of the call, the quote I gave you guys was, they say if you look in the rearview mirror and scrutinize it too much, you're going to hit a light post. And, I know what's happened in my past has shaped me to who I am today. I'm very proud of who I am. I'm very proud of the business I've built. I'm very proud of the organization we have. I'm very proud of my decisions I made in my 20s and 30s to get my life to where I am today. I know it has not been easy. But I will tell you, the one thing that I've always known is that you don't get greatness out of life if you quit. If you stop doing the things that you should be doing. Besides smoking, you probably should quit that. But besides that, if you quit the things that you really want to go after and you really want to accomplish, it's a habit. And that happens to a lot of people. And for me, although life and business has not been easy, I just know it's going to get better, and that sometimes it's just a season. sometimes it's just winter. After winter comes spring. After spring comes summer. And I know that we just got to get through certain times of our lives to get to the spring or get to the summer. But thanks for listening. I hope you guys have an amazing day. I hope you guys, by listening to today's call, help you create more awareness about your life. Again, the purpose of this call was not to be about me, but it was to be about sharing things that have gone on in my world, in my life, that have shaped me to be who I am and be what I want to be. It's important what's happened in our past. It is not going to keep you from reaching your goals. It's not what happens to you, it's how you respond to it. So happy Tuesday. Have a fantastic week. Invite your friends and whoever else next Tuesday. We'll have another call. See you guys.
Thanks, Ken.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you, Ken.